Hi, and welcome to this video. In this video is less technical. We are going to introduce you in different ways to give you some ideas about selling applications. This is relevant also if you are a digital agency or if you are an entrepreneur, a freelance, a designer, because can give you some ideas were about the pricing and different ideas for strategies to sell the application. And considerations if you are starting with a project for a customer. Okay, so we are going to talk about these topics, the best practice to use Apphive, how to start with a project, how to generate income as an app developer, and we are going to talk about the no-code app development market and how much costs to build an application, because this is the most common question when you are starting, especially, and you don't sell application is what is the price or how can I charge my customer for the application I am creating, and also show you different or other sources of income that you can have when you are creating applications. So the first is Apply best practices. Okay, so if you are starting creating applications with Apphive, you need to learn the basics. How you can learn the basics? You can follow this YouTube channel, and we have different tutorials, and we're uploading more and more tutorials every week. So you can learn the basics about databases, about design, and you can follow the tutorials to create your first application. So this is the important, because once you understand the basics, there are a lot of functions using Apphive. We have more than 200 different functions, but you need to learn the basics. And once you know the basic, how to create lists, how to manage with different design, databases, how to manage with data, so you can keep learning how to use the rest of the applications, of the functions. We also have the documentation available in docs.apphive.io, so you can find also documentation about each function. And also in the platform, for each function, you have these icons. If you click on it, you have the information about the function and how this function works. Okay, so well, learn the basics. The next is to, well, you can join YouTube, the community, the talks. The second is to make a project you like or to help someone else. The best way to learn is doing, always. Doesn't matter that you check all the documentation and watch all the videos. If you don't start working on a project, so it becomes difficult to learn, because there is a lot of information to process, and the best way to learn is to do something. If you have well, the idea to create an application to do something, well, you can start with that. It doesn't matter that it's not a big idea, it's only to practice, and you need to have a definition of what you want to create, or also if you know someone, a friend, or an association or something that needs an application, you can start working with them. It can be pro bono, you don't need to charge them, especially if you are learning, or if you can sell them, but be always clear that you are learning how to create the application, and it can take for some time, and well, because you are learning how to create it. The third is help others. Um, is demonstrated that the best way to learn something is to explain to others. So once you learn a function, if you are practicing creating your project, if you try to help others, we have the groups, we have the community. So if you see that someone asks for help and you know how to do that, it's great if you help the others. The most recompense when you help the others is you, because you are reinforcing your knowledge about what you are explaining when you are explaining to others. Okay, the most important is to understand what you are doing. If you follow the tutorials, if you watch the videos, and you do the same I'm doing on these videos, it's great, but be sure that you understand what you are doing. If you have a dub when you add a function or when you add a control, you can ask for this, but be sure that you know what you are doing. On this way, maybe it's low because you need to understand function by function and what you are doing, but at the end is the best way to learn, because you can change the things according that your needs. Not all the applications are the same. Doesn't matter that you can see other applications for delivery or a customer ask you for a clone for Uber. The application will be different. So the most important is to understand what you are doing when you are following the videos. Don't be don't be afraid of breaking things down. So if you are creating your application and you are practicing, uh, don't be afraid of broke all. You have the versions, so you can save a version of your application when all works or describing before what you are going to do. And you can broke everything and change the thing, change the function, and be sure that you understand what you are doing. Later, you can go back to a version and recover everything. Sometimes you need to reload after click on recover, and you're going to recover everything. So don't be afraid to break the things. It's better to do this when you are starting than when you have a big project and you don't understand how to change something. Also, when you buy a template, it's the same. You can change the things, but the most important is to understand exactly what you are doing. Um, and if you're following a tutorial or a video or using a template, adapt what you are doing to your needs. This is a great way to be sure that you understand what you are doing. Maybe you have a screen with a design or a functions, and you want to customize it to change according to your needs. So don't be afraid to do that. You can try, save a version, and add the function, and try to. It's like when you are learning about well, any other thing, like you need to practice and broke the things as fast as you can, and then you can try to reconstruct these things. In this way you can understand how they have been done. Okay, so adapt the guides according to your needs. So how you can start with a project? First, keep in mind that when you are creating an application, you are solving a problem. So this problem needs to be clear. What are you solving when you are creating the application? Because this is a could be a very common or basic, no? Because you can think, okay, yeah, I'm solving a problem. But most of the projects or the customers doesn't start with a problem, start with a solution, because they want to create an application for delivery, or they want an application for help the doctors, or anything. But the issue is that if you don't know and you don't have clear the problem, uh, sometimes you need to change the solution. You need to change the application or the way the application works. And you can change if you only have in your mind the solution, the application you want to create. Sometimes it becomes difficult to adapt the application according of the needs because you don't have a clear problem. What are you solving? And if you have the problem clear, um, so you can change the functions, you can change the way the application works because at the end you are going to solve this problem. So the important is to keep in mind always the problem. Second, analyze the problem. Understand the different parts of the problem and focus on what needs to be solved, what is the most important part of the problem, and start from this. Who has the problem? You need to know who is the user who is going to use the application. For example, if you uh, if you're creating an application for I don't know, like for people, for old people, okay? So you are going to need big buttons and maybe you need fewer options because the people who is going to use the application doesn't have this knowledge about technology. But it's different if you are going to create the application for, I know, for adolescent or it depends who is your user or who is going to use the application and where is going to use the application. You need to keep in mind what other alternatives are out there about this application. The right now are millions of applications created. So probably you are going to find some application. Maybe it's not exactly the application you want to create, but you need to search for it, search in different stores, search on Google, and try to find what other alternatives are out there. Sometimes there is not an application, but there is an different option the people is using to solve this problem. Be worried you if you don't find an alternative or another solution about this problem. Maybe you can uh, you can think if this is really a problem because if there is a problem, always there is a solution. Maybe it's not the ideal solution, but should be something that the people is doing to solve this problem. The next is why is what you want to build is a better alternative. Why this application you want to create is a better alternative of what the people is doing right now. Because sometimes I know the people has a record of visits for a salesman, no, and they do it in a paper and with a pencil and a paper. But well, maybe this works for them, and you can sell this new application as a new way to save all and have the information in real time on a computer instead of write all these reports. But this is really what they need. They are worried about this because not because you implement technology, it means that it's a better solution to a problem they have. Maybe they have another problems, and so your solution will not be relevant according to their needs. Okay. Um, and finally, think about what could go wrong. So think about why the people don't going to need your application, why is going to be broken when you launch your application, what are the risks to launch this application, because you need to think always on what can be go wrong when you are working or creating the application. um, it doesn't matter. It's not to be pessimist. It's to um to identify the risk when you are creating the application and try to mitigate as soon as possible, or at least think about it when you are creating the solution. So the next step is validate the problem. Try to build the application as a minimal viable product as soon as possible. So try to build a basic solution and validate in the market. Talk the potential client and identify the problem. It's incredible. Well, this can sound basic, but we have a lot of cases of users who needs an application, but they have not talked with the potential client they have in mind. So if you are going to create an application for runners, talk with runners. Go where your potential customer is and talk with them. Ask them about their problems and verify the problem you are trying to solve is really a relevant problem for them. Okay. Try to sell the solution as complete. Sometimes you are afraid to go on talk with the final customer because you don't have your application finished. But doesn't matter. You can start talking with them and try to combine them. Like, or I already have this application finished, so you can you buy it, or will you buy it if I give this solution for you, because this application is going to do A, B, or C, no? So you can create a PowerPoint presentation or only explain what your solution do, and if you can combine them, that they will buy it, and finally, if they give you the money without seeing the application, it means that it's a very relevant problem. So try to sell them before building. And analyze and repeat. Always talk with customer, try to sell them, and understand why they don't want to buy it, but don't don't keep this selling hypothetical. Don't say that, will you buy an application to help you with that? No, no, no. Think that you have this application done and try to sell it. You can create the screens or the basics of the application, but try to sell it, try to sell the solution to know if this is a relevant solution. And identify the essential part of the problem. Sometimes you or your customers are going to create an application to have a lot of features and to solve a lot of problem and to add many features in your application, but you need to focus especially at the beginning on a part of the problem which is the most relevant part of this problem. You can grow the application and keep adding features after you launch it, but the most important is to start with something that the people need. Okay, build the application flow. You can do it in paper or using a diagram, but the most important is to organize your ideas and know how this application is going to work. You can start creating these screens or start adding the screens that your application is going to use and order this screen, but or do it in a paper or write it, But the important is to have clarity how the application will work, and keep only the steps that are necessary to solve the basic problem, and avoid too nice to have. Sometimes when you are creating this application flow, you discover that you can add new features, and you have a lot of ideas if you are creative, and especially if you are focused in help, well, or create different solution for the people, and you can have a lot of ideas, but keep only the strictly necessary, the most basic part of the problem. And the nice to have, you can write that you are going to develop in the future, but at the beginning, the most important is to have the more simple application to solve the most essential part of the problem. And then start developing the application. Know that at this step, in the sixth step, you are start working with Apphive, start creating the application. Before that, you need to be sure that it's a problem that needs to be solved. This is important if it's your project or if it's a project for a customer, because these steps you need to help the customer to to know that they are solving a problem, or understand all this information before you start developing the application. Because if you have all this information clear, what is the problem, what is the customer, what are the other alternatives, if you have all this information clear, will be easy to create a solution and create an application, because you will understand what you are doing. If you only start because the customer explain you what is the application, but you don't understand who is the customer, what is the application for, what are the other alternatives, at some point you can be confused and can develop the features that are not needed to solve the basic problem. So it is important to understand all these steps before you start working. Doesn't matter if it's not your project, if it's a project for your customer. The next step is how to generate income as an app developer. You can start alone or start as part of a team. Uh, if you want to start as a part of a team, uh, well, if you want to start alone, so you need to start developing 2 or 3 small projects, yeah, for your friends, for you, so you can have a portfolio and you can practice what you are learning on the tutorials. You can help others to learn more. Sometimes, well, a common question is how can I get my first customers for application, because I am learning how to create applications and it's the first time. So help others. So, well, it's very common that when you start helping others, they maybe, well, you help them with the basic things, but sometimes they tell you that, okay, you help me with this feature or with that function. So can you continue the application, or can you can you create the application for me? So you can get customers if you help others. First, you need to help, then the customers are going to ask for your help. Or also, well, at the end, you can join the partner program. To join the partner program, you need to send us an email to partners at apphive.io. But before join, be sure that you have at least 2 or 3 small projects, and also to know the basics about the platform. If you want to start as part of a team, so first you need to identify what is your strongest ability. No, are you going? Are you good at prospect search, at sales, or analysis problem, or developing? So identify what is your strongest area, and then you can send us a mail and send us or send a message to another partners, and so you can join to these teams they have doing what you do best. So you can find the partners we have at Apphive.io partners, and you can gain experience working with them. They have a lot of experience, they have projects, so you can start working as a part of a team with any of our partners. So why is important to learn and why is relevant the no-code application market? Well, see this projection. So right now, well, the no-code and low-code market is growing very fast and will continue growing. It's one of the um, technologies in the technology industry, which is growing in an accelerated way because every time more companies need to develop more applications, and there are not enough developers in the market, and they need to do it in a faster way, in a cheaper way. This is why the no code is becoming more and more relevant in the market. So why you should develop application using no code, or why the companies are looking for develop no code applications. First is because it's increased the speed of development. You don't need to create an environment or mount a server for emulates. You just start very fast. Okay, adding the screens, adding the functions, so it's faster than creating code. It's easy of maintenance because when you create an application using code, well, you need to keep updated, not only because the logic of the application is because each year there are a lot of updates about the operating system of the phone, new features, no Face ID. Well, every year that are new launches about new features, about new updates about the operating system, and you need to keep updating your application. Um, to be working in all the new versions of the operating system. When you work with a no-code platform with Apphive, so these updates are made by us automatically. So you don't need to worry about these updates because you only need to compile again your application and you will get all these updates. And also you can update the application in a faster way. So every business nowadays needs to keep updating the application to be competitive on the market. So you can update your application faster, add new features, and test on the market as fast as possible. And and the speed is the key in the market nowadays. The crisis is an opportunity. What is going to happen the next year, what is happening right now, the crisis is a great opportunity because there will be, or there are now less resources in the market to hire traditional developers. The startups, the new companies doesn't have a lot of money. Even the big companies are firing a lot of developers because they don't have money to keep them. So there is an opportunity where you can develop applications in a faster way, in a cheaper way, in an easy way. So there is a big opportunity. There is a high demand for developers and digitalization to reduce the cost and to be more competitive on the market. So this next year will be a great opportunity. So how much does it cost to build a mobile application? Okay, it depends on three factors. When you are going to estimate the cost of an application, you need to know how what is the knowledge necessary to develop the application. If you know the functions necessary to create the application, if the application involves or needs GPS or maps, you need to have this knowledge to develop the application because, well, it depends on the project. Depends of your experience. What is the experience you have? What other projects um, have you been done by you? And what is the experience you have? And how much time we take to develop this application. So if you know these three things, well, it's the basic to estimate the cost of develop an application. Okay, the necessary knowledge and experience can be demonstrated with a portfolio, okay? And will directly affect the cost per hour. So how you can increase your knowledge and your experience, start working with projects. Doesn't matter if you don't have real customers at the beginning. You can start with your project, with a project for a friend, but on this way you gain experience and gain knowledge that will increase the cost per hour when you have more customers. And when you create more projects, you can increase your cost per hour. These are some examples of cost per hour you can find in different places. In Latin America, it's cheaper. Yeah, so it's between $5 to $10 each hour. In Europe, it's between $20 and $50 the hour. And in USA, it's between 50 and $150 per hour. Okay, so this is the average. So it depends how long the project will take and your experience. Maybe you start with a lower rate per hour, but you can increase this once you keep learning. Um, it's not recommended to estimate the project based off another project. Sometimes they say like, okay, if you already developed this other application, what is the cost for my application? It's not a good idea because they each application is very different from others. The requirements are different, the needs are different, the features are different, and sometimes when you are starting a project, it's not very clear. But it's not a good idea to estimate the total of the project based on another. And also, uh, don't keep the total cost from the beginning of the project because um, it's very usual that the customer asks you, know, what is the cost to create this kind of application? But it's very difficult to estimate the total cost of an application. You can start with some features and say, okay, we can start with these features that I can develop this week, and this is the estimate cost for these features. And then the next week and the next week. And so once you create or you develop these features, you can charge the customer for them, but avoid to give them a full cost of develop the application because as they add new functions or take more time or there are new ideas when you are developing the application, maybe can be very risky to because the cost will change and you can have problems with the customers if you try. So divide the program the project in small parts uh, and and ask for payment each time that you advance in the project. Okay, and the final thing is about other source of income, templates. If you are creating the applications you are practicing or the applications for customers, you can create templates. We have a marketplace where you get 85% of the profit for each template. And, and also you can upsell customization or new functions for this template. And we make all the investment in ads, in marketing for the marketplace. So once you create an application, you can sell this as a template and all this automatically. And we send you the funds to your PayPal account or your bank account. So you don't need to worry about the payments, about the marketing. We do all this for you. So the marketplace is a great opportunity if you are creating an application and you can sell this application uh, multiple times to multiple customers around the world. And we send you these customers, so we sell for you, basically. And finally, the best way to start is just do it. It sounds like Nike, but yes, just do it. Start doing the things, start learning, start practicing with projects, and on this way you will start getting the results, getting knowledge, and start with your application. And we are here for help you. We are uploading videos, explain you how to use the platform in the best way, and also for help you with jobs about the platform. And you can join us to the different webinars where we explain different topics that you can learn in a better way how to use Apphive to create applications. Thank you and see you the next time.